Okay, we'll start off by checking the parts for issue 47, and there should be a total of 9. So let me just get this open. Sometimes I really don't do a good job of opening this. There we go. So just pop that there. And piece number 1 is the rear housing detail, and and that should be this piece here. So that's again, it's plastic, like most of these parts. So the port rear landing leg cover. Now there's 3 pieces that look very similar. I think if we do a comparison between them, that should identify which one is which. So this is 2 and 3. These are the port and starboard rear landing leg covers. I think they go that way. No, they go that way. I'm hoping that when we actually come to fit them, we'll be able to tell the difference. So this is the rear housing detail, and this is the plant on detail. That looks quite nicely weathered, actually. I quite like that. So this is one of these is 6. This one is number 6. This is plant on details, 12 on sprue, and 7 and 8 are steel pins and magnets. We've dealt with these before. And lastly, number 9, plant on details, 12 on sprue. So there's lots of small details going to be happening. So I look forward to those. Okay, so normally what I do is I deal with this a section at a time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do the first part, which is just showing you the parts. Then I'm going to do the first half of the fitting the center housing. Because the parts that I'm going to show you are for the entire issue, we're only dealing with a small amount of parts at a time. So these are the parts that you need. This is BF28. If you remember, this is the part where one of the front bits fell off, but I managed to get them on. We stuck 2 bits down there. We have piece BF31 and BF30. We have 27 and 29, which goes there. Now, if you remember, these are the ones that had the panels that are going to come off. We pop the steel pins in there and the magnets so they stay on. So that's those parts. We also need the concussion missile mount, which I cannot remember which part that came from. And then the parts we need from this issue are, well, pretty much all of them. These plates. It's really hard to describe how I know which way they went, but I worked out that this is for this one, and you'll know that these lines are there. They go at the top. As I'm looking at it, they're going to go to the top. So then you want this. See, I say the little nook there, but it's a nook on the other side. Another way to look at it, actually, you've got this little line that goes down one side. If I can get that on camera, that's going to go on the outside. So that's incorrect. That's correct. I don't know if it's going to make much of a difference if you've got the. Actually, it would make a lot of difference. I think I've just figured this out, guys. Yeah. So if you put it on wrong, it actually doesn't line up there. You see that pattern just seems a little bit off. Whereas if you put it on correctly, there you go. So it actually makes that pattern. So there you go. As I was describing it to you, it kind of came together. Okay, so this part I'm actually going to cut into 2 because there's 2 main bits to it. There's actually making this part, which is very, very simple, and then there's attaching it to the main hull. And as you know, how big that hull is, that's not going to be easy. So what we need to do is take the section BP28, which is a massive old piece, and what we're going to do is we're going to take the missile mounts, and that needs to go onto here. So we'll do a dry fit first. It's going to fit on one end or the other. Basically it's not going to go onto this end at all, and it's going to go, but it will fit onto this, and you see it's a nice snug fit. And what we need to do is we need to apply glue onto those lugs. So we can either apply the glue there or apply them on there. Because it's all going to be inside, I don't feel it's going to make a difference either way. So I've got the super glue. We'll see how we get on with that. I was suggested a different type of glue, but I think we'll be okay with this. But what we'll do is we'll leave it our usual 10 seconds. If it then doesn't work, we can always reassess the situation. So that is on. I don't think it's going to need to be on mega tight anyway, because this isn't a toy. We're not going to play with it. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and that's actually stuck down really well. I do trust my super glue, my Gorilla Glue, and I've just given it a gentle push underneath, and that's on absolutely fine. So that's looking a bit tasty now, isn't it? So let's get on with the next bit. Okay, so this is actually going to fit over the smooth part of the hull. Now, if you can't figure out which side is smooth, there's two ways to notice that this has got a little, is smooth on the end. We just move it over to there. We've got the engines there, and it's quite there's like a ridge there, so you can't really get it on there. The other way to tell is if you place the ramp, which has got the wires. I can't bring the wires round to show you, but this is where the ramp is going to be there, and there's the wires underneath. So if you go up to the left, that's your smooth bit there, and obviously there's this part which we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 11, 12 lugs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And we place those in there. It might take a little bit of jiggery pokery, but they will go. You might find it easier to move this panel actually, although that's held in quite well with the magnets. You might not want to take a chance. So once that's in, what we'll do is we'll turn that round, and then we will screw that down with 12 screws. And the screws that we're after are the same ones as the hull plating, which are these silver ones, the little silver top hat ones. So what we'll do is we'll get on with this, and we'll find the first one to plug in. Always pop the easy ones in first, because then what might happen sometimes, that will pull in the harder ones. So it's not actually in properly on this side in my example. So there we go. Don't be frightened to push it, so long as you are pushing it at the right angle. Okay, I'm struggling there. So so it's not quite going in properly. I am struggling with this. I don't know if maybe I've put the parts in wrong, but we'll see if maybe this can pull it in right. There we go. I think there's my problem. There we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do now then is I will speed this up, because you don't need to see the boring bits, do you? Okay, so I've left these two bits here. There's little protrusions there. The reason I've left them is, first of all, it doesn't tell us to put anything in there. Secondly, it says be sure not to miss any of the 10 fixings. And I have actually put 10 screws in. So I think that should be left. And this is what it looks like from the top. And then obviously what we'll do is we'll pop that panel back in, and I think that looks lovely. Okay, so I'm going to be honest with you, this is getting really difficult with the size of it and one of these bolts not fitting properly. So what I'm going to do for the forward housing, I'm going to actually fit one, and I'm just going to fit the other one off camera because it is exactly the same. So what we're going to do, we have two pieces here that are pretty much mirror images of each other. So you obviously just need to work out which is which. And what's going to happen is this little wibbly bit is going to go on the end here. So that's going to go onto there, like so. There are locating pegs, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 holes, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 holes, and they go into there like so. If I can find them, locate one peg on the corner, and then just locate the rest from there. In fact, actually I might be able to get the other one on as well. So this is where the other one is. You see, this is the middle part here. Sorry to have to keep moving my camera. And that's, if one of these comes off as I'm screwing the other one on, I'm just going to leave it. Actually, I think I might have just got away with it. So then we need to turn that over, and yeah, I think I've got away with it. So I'm going to need 14 of the silver fixing screws, 7 on each part. So let's see if we can locate these holes. Okay, so there they are, and there are a couple of holes in there which I suspect will be for something in the future. This is the bottom, so I suspect these are going to be the legs, but these might, I don't know, because this is the part that's going to pop out. I can just find the hole. I can't lift these because, oh, I can lift them, but there is a hole in there and we can actually poke something through there. No, I just lost it. Okay, I'll leave that. In fact, actually, paintbrush. So if I just find the hole, which is there, I can't find the hole. So there it is. So yeah, I think there's something in there that's going to poke. I'm not sure, but right. So that's that stage done. Okay, so the next stage says that we need to fit this piece. This is BF31, and that's going to go into, let me just move the camera. It's where we just worked on the front here, and we're now going to start working on the rear. Now it does say to insert this piece and then screw it in and then work on the next piece. Having done a dry fit, it's quite a tight fit, so I'm actually going to go ahead and do the next stage as well, which is BF30, because I'm quite confident that when I turn this over, the pieces will remain. So what I'll do, I should be putting this in, then screw it, then put this one in, screw it. I've put this one and this one in. I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to screw them both. So there we go. So what I'm going to do is crack on now, and I'm going to screw those in, and then we'll get to the next stage. Okay, so that's the rear parts on. And next thing we want to do is we have this part here, and that needs to go into there, and that will fix in with 8 lugs. Now, when I did the dry fit, this didn't fit that well. However, I hadn't actually screwed these parts in, and I can see it's still not going to fit perfectly. So I wonder if I might have to do a bit of jiggling around. And of course, once we apply glue to this, we're kind of going to be on a race against time, aren't we? I think I've just broken a leg. Oh, that's fine. So, to be honest with you, if these go in really tough, really hard, then so I just want to check. I think actually I'm just going to poke these in. I think once they're in, I think they're going to stay. It's just a case of getting those end ones in. It's a really tight fit. And of course, over this something this size, it only has to be 8 by a couple of mils, and it's 8. So I can get this end in, or I can get this end in, but I can't seem to get both ends in. I'll try turning it around. I believe that both ends, this is symmetrical. See, I can get those 2 sides in. I don't know if there's a trick there. I really am struggling with this, and also I don't want to knock the bottom too much. You see, we've got some delicate pins there, and now I've got one of these pegs, the bolts come out because there's no thread in there. I don't know if that's going to cause me a problem long term, because I believe these screw holes are actually going to be for mounting onto a wall bracket as well. So I am a touch worried about that, but you know, the alternative is to admit that this is a faulty part, contact model space, and then what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to strip all of this out and put a new bit. I don't really want to do that. So I'll try my best to get this bolt in, and that might just help a little bit. That will just enable me just to put a bit more pressure on this. I feel I may have to just... Oh, there we go, we've got it in. There we go, that's gone in. So I'm going to be honest with you guys, because that's in so tight, I'm actually not... There you go, this bolt's just falling out again. I might just give up on it. I'm beginning to wonder if what I should have done was get a smaller bolt but longer and then thread it through. So once we've done that, I'll say I'm just going to leave that clipped in. I think that will be fine. The next part is one of the plant on details, part 5, and that's going to go there. You see there's like a zillion holes, and it's going to use up these 6 there. So that's going to go in like that, and I would be more comfortable gluing that in. So I'll get my glue, and I'm just going to put dabs of glue just around the pins, not too much. There's actually 8 pegs. I said there were zillions, but there's only actually 8. But you know, close enough. When there's a lot, what's the difference between a lot and zillions? There we go. So we'll just give that a moment or two. Okay. So this is now stuck on. So that's, I'm not going to be able to remove those panels. The next piece that I need is going to be this plant on detail, which came with this issue, and that's going to go on like so. And like before, when I did the dry fit before I started filming, there we go, and that's actually gone on a lot better, but that didn't actually go in very well, but that's gone in really tight, so I'm not going to bother gluing that. Why glue if you don't need it? Let's just call it a push fit connection. So that is the end of fitting the rear housings. Okay, so for this section we need the magnets and the steel pins. I'm trying to find the camera there. And what we're going to do is we're going to insert 4 steel pins, and again 4 steel pins on this side, and then on these plates we're going to attach the magnets. We've done this before, it's dead simple. So what I'm going to do is just off camera, it's on my little I've got a little pot. I'm just getting the steel pins, and there's everything, there's steel pins and magnets there. So what we need to do is we need to pop the steel pin into there, and if it's too tight we need to push that in, but in this instance it's actually too loose. So what we're needing to do is just pop a little bit of super glue, and the best way to tell if it's too loose or too tight is just pop the pin onto the end of the magnets, and if we can get that in and out, then we know it's too loose. So if it comes out really easily, all we do is we pop a tiny dab of glue onto the end, not much, just a touch there, and then we'll push that into there. We shouldn't get too much glue excess because there's a little cap on the pin, and we know we'll leave that about 5 seconds. Pull the magnets off, that's not glued. 1 2 3 4 5. 1 2 3 4 5, and you know what, that still hasn't stuck. Look, so pop a little tiny bit more glue just on the edges. We really want to put as little as we can because we don't want that glue to squidge out all over the magnets. Now that is not going to stick, is it? There we go, that's stuck. So when we can pull the magnets up and the pin stays behind, we know that's stuck. So this one has been drying for a while, so let's see how it fits. Oh, look at that, it's as if it was made to measure. So there we go, that's gone on absolutely fine. So we just check these are dry. Probably shouldn't test them with your fingers, but that one's gone on fine. Now it does say in the magazine about if these warp, to just run a hairdryer over them. I think mine are absolutely fine, so I'm not going to do that. But all you do is you just run a hairdryer along, and that what will actually happen, it will, well, with my R2D2, with the PLA plastic, what I found was it bends away from the heat. So if you found it was going this way, bend it, you know, that way. But if it was warping that way, apply the heat there. But mine are fine, so there we go. So I'm actually happy with that. So on to the next stage. Okay, so for this stage we're going to need the machinery parts that we did in stage 44 and 45, which are these parts here, and we're going to attach these on the back. Now the way that it tells us to do this is we need to, basically what's going to happen with each of these parts, these bits that stick out are going to be touching this bit, and this bit with the lines on needs to go into the middle. So that would be wrong, that would be wrong. We need that bit in the middle and that bit at the top, so that has to go that way. So we'll do a test fit. We've got 4 lugs, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that will go in like so, and this goes on the opposite side, and we've got to leave 4 holes in the middle. I'll explain that in a moment as soon as I get this on. That's gone on fine, and the 4 holes in the middle are going to be for this piece, and this flat pit here is going to be touching the main part. So you've got detail on 3 sides, 1, 2, 3, no detail on that side, so you know that's going to go in like so. So that now tells us where to place the glue, and then so what we can do is we can remove this, and I would keep them in the direction they're going to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply glue on the 4 lugs and a little bit along there. So we know this is working well for this plastic. So we apply a dab there, and this can be quite you know, slight too much, but I don't want too much here, so I'm just going to apply tiny dabs, sorry. So, and then because this is a fast acting glue, we need to go in fairly quick. If you're not confident with the glue, try and find something that's strong but has a much slower drying time. So we'll go in with this next one. So same applies, glue on the tabs, and then just a few dabs. I'm not applying this glue anywhere selective, I'm just applying dabs all over, and work fairly quick. And then that's one, and then this one, dab, 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 and then just a couple of dabs along there. Not too much, really is less is more. Go, and that's gone in fine. I'm happy with that. So we'll test the fit on that one. That's fine. And this one I wasn't expecting it to be stuck down so well, but it has actually gone in well. Okay, so that leaves 2 pieces. Now these pieces go, there's a little line running along there, you can just make it out there, and this goes along the top. Now these pieces look identical, so you'd be forgiven for thinking it doesn't matter which way round they go. However, if you look at these lugs from the side, you see that they're actually slightly wider on one side than on the other. You need that longer bit poking down, so once you've got those poking down, you can then see which way round they go. This square bit needs to go towards the middle. So that actually goes on like so. Right, okay, that one didn't want to play, so we'll go for this one. So that goes on like so, and that one goes on like so. And yes, you guessed it, we need to glue. So we work out where the glue points are. So put a little bit of glue in the middle, and then I'll just put a couple of small dabs just in selected places, or if you haven't got a lot of glue on the bit, just run a very small line down. So that can go in, and I'll just hold that in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's stuck fast. And again with this one, glue, glue, selected dabs just in a few places, and then we will, if you can, make this a one-shot chance. Get it in first go. Practice as many times as you want. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that's not quite stuck down. 3, 2, 1. Still not stuck down. I think I've not actually got any glue on there. Okay, so I might have to just apply a bit of glue with a paintbrush, but that's fine. So that's the end of the entire issue now, actually. But this is the detail that I've just managed to get on. I apologise for it being upside down, but I believe this is going to be the back. I might be wrong, but this is the lower back. So this is obviously, we're working on this upside down, but that's really nice detail there. I'm really happy with that. So yeah, that's it then. Thank you very much for watching, and then hopefully I will see you next week.